Here's more wrestling news for May 25th, 2023, and we're starting off with WWE, and when Vince McMahon returned to the company in January, a lot of talent feel that this would mark the return of mass layoffs, but that didn't happen at the time. After it was confirmed that WWE will be acquired by Endeavor, it was again suspected that cuts were coming, and while they haven't happened yet, time is running out for some on the roster. That's according to WrestleVotes, who when speaking to Give Me Sport, said that there will be a minor batch of releases that are expected to take place before July. WrestleVotes didn't give any names, but as we've reported in the past, some stars have been considered for cuts, including Aaliyah and Lacey Evans. It's certainly interesting that cuts are expected, as it was after the Endeavor announcement that Nick Khan said that though cuts were expected, they wouldn't be coming from production, creative, or talent. Of course, there's always the chance that these cuts don't happen, and we'll have to wait and see which superstars are no longer with the company before this July. Unsurprisingly, WWE have not given any public statement about planned cuts, other than what Khan said earlier this year, but if these cuts do happen, it won't be because of Vince McMahon. According to BWE, a source who has proven themselves in the past, they said that these cuts are going to be a part of a review that happens annually and aren't a result of the executive chairman. If McMahon isn't the one seeking the cuts, then it's likely that Khan is the one wanting to trim the fat, something that the WWE CEO has had no issue with since arriving in WWE in 2020. It's never good to see anybody lose their job, especially now when it seems the price of everything is going up, but if these cuts happen, fans won't be able to blame Vince McMahon. WrestleMania news now is even though this year's event was less than 2 months ago, plans are already coming together for next year's event in Philadelphia. It was reported recently that one match being pitched as the main event for Raw would see Cody Rhodes face Gunther, presumably with one of the two walking in as World Heavyweight Champion. Now there's a lot of time between now and WrestleMania 40, but there's been a major update in the plans for the show. When Ringside News reached out to a tenured member of WWE's creative team, they didn't ask about this match exactly, but asked if WWE are really booking main events this far in advance. The creative team member said that WWE does indeed have a plan for the main event of next year's show, but stopped short of saying what it is, or if either Cody or Gunther are involved. With next year's event happening again over 2 nights, fans can expect Roman Reigns to headline one of those nights, but what do you hope to see as the main event of WrestleMania 40 next April? We've got some concerning news regarding Jey USO now, as the Bloodline member has become the victim of an obsessed stalker. As shared on social media, videos have been uploaded to TikTok by a user who goes by the name Billy the Bully and has several concerning videos. In one, Billy can be seen in bed with a Jey USO action figure and acts as if the figure is both the real person as well as her partner. A recurring theme in these videos is that Billy has been told by countless viewers that Jey USO is happily married, and she repeatedly makes it clear that him being married won't stop her. In one video, Billy even shares what is believed to be Jey USO's home address in a clear breach of privacy, which bears similarities to the Sonya Deville stalker situation of 2020. Deville and Mandy Rose were lucky to escape that situation, as stalkers pose a very real threat to wrestlers, and we hope that this is a matter that Jey is able to deal with as soon as possible. At WrestleMania 39, Shane McMahon made his return to WWE, though his comeback didn't go as planned. During his impromptu match with The Miz, Shane suffered a torn quad that resulted in Snoop Dogg replacing him in the bout, but this wasn't the only match that was planned for Shane O'Mac. In an appearance on the MMA Hour, Hulk Hogan was asked if he has ever considered a retirement match and revealed that he and Shane talked about doing something at this year's Showcase of the Immortals. He said, Shane goes, "Hey, you got one more in ya, old man?" I said, "Take it easy with the old man stuff, brother. What do you want to do?" He said, "All you gotta do is stand in the middle of the ring and I'll come to you." I said, "Well, right now my back needs a little more work, but that's something we can talk about next year." I've always wanted to have a retirement match, and I'm not moving around the way I should be. So I'm going to keep working, keep training, and keep doing rehab and see where I am about 6 months from now. All I found out from the wrestling business, brother, is never say never. Hogan has been quite vocal on the topic of having one last match in WWE, as he doesn't want his final ever match in his historic career to have been as part of a 6-man tag match on a TNA house show in January 2012. As we all know, Hogan isn't the beloved wrestling star he once was and may not get the reaction he's hoping for, but that won't stop the Hulkster from continuing to have a retirement match in WWE. One name fans did see at WrestleMania 39 is Logan Paul, who once again impressed fans with his match against Seth Rollins. Despite his skills and the interference of KSI, Paul was unable to get a victory over the former Universal Champion, and fans can expect the Maverick back in the ring very soon. According to WrestleVotes, who spoke to Give Me Sport, Paul will be part of WWE's next 2 premium live events after Night of Champions, those being Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. We can't say what WWE has planned for Paul at SummerSlam, but sources who spoke to WrestleVotes said that the current plan is for the YouTuber to be a part of the Money in the Bank ladder match. The idea of Paul earning a guaranteed World Championship shot will certainly raise some eyebrows, and it'll certainly help elevate the part-timer as a heel who draws the ire of fans. On next week's Raw, WWE will begin hosting qualifying matches for the men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches. And do you want to see Logan Paul compete in London? Sound off in the comments. This weekend, Cody Rhodes will face Brock Lesnar in one of 3 main events at Night of Champions, and the American Nightmare will compete with a, quote, broken arm. That's at least how WWE are promoting the match after Rhodes was assaulted by Lesnar during this week's Raw, and there had been speculation that Rhodes would be taking time off after Night of Champions. The belief was that WWE would pull Rhodes from shows to sell the effect of this broken arm, but if this happens, don't expect the former AEW TNT champion to be gone for long. According to WKRD Wrestling, if Cody is set to take time off to sell this injury, he is expected to be back in time for Money in the Bank, and like Paul, will be a competitor in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. The report also mentioned that Rhodes nearly won the Smackdown Money in the Bank briefcase a decade ago, before the match was won by his then tag team partner Damien Sandow. With Logan Paul and Cody Rhodes expected in the men's ladder match, the bout won't be short on star power. And who else do you want to see in the match on July 1st in London? Now, during this year's Women's Royal Rumble match, Chelsea Green made her return to WWE and promptly set the record for the shortest time in a Women's Rumble match ever. Green was released by WWE in 2021, but was allowed to continue attending the Performance Center to heal an injured wrist, and her return came with a surprising amount of ease. Speaking on the Out of Character podcast, Green explained how after trying to prove herself in other promotions, she simply decided to ask for a job back, which went very well for her. I texted Triple H and said I want my job back, and he said, okay, call me. And I was shocked. I want to go back to WWE, my story is not finished. And on that phone call he said, I absolutely would love having you back, and you just tell me when is a good time for you to start. Green went on to say that people shouldn't be afraid to simply ask for what they want, as it has certainly paid off for her in this case. While Green hasn't been winning too many matches since her return, she has formed an alliance with Sonya Deville, and will be one of 4 teams challenging for the vacant WWE Women's Tag Team titles next week. Green was one of the final rehirings WWE made before they implemented a freeze on signing talent, and for the Canadian, her story proves that if you don't ask, you don't get. And we're ending today with the Royal Rumble, and with a championship opportunity at WrestleMania on the line, things can get understandably heated during the Rumble match. Zelina Vega has been part of multiple Women's Rumble matches, but has yet to win one, though this week she admitted to losing her cool in last year's bout. Speaking with Wrestling with Freddie, Vega recalled a spot last year when Sasha Banks saved Bianca Belair from being eliminated by herself and Carmella, and said that when the boss hit her with a Meteora, it felt like she broke Vega's orbital bone. Vega recalled being so mad and was hell-bent on delivering a receipt, and said that it felt like she kicked the soul out of Banks when she retaliated. Backstage, the two made amends, and Banks was said to be super apologetic and completely understood why Vega had delivered the receipt. Things can get heated in the ring at any time, and it's good that the pair were able to work things out after the match, but last year's Rumble is one that the now Mercedes Moné will likely never forget.